Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why anything less than Floyd Mayweather stopping McGregor is an utter failure for Floyd.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why playing with LeBron isn't all it's cracked up to be. Speak for yourself starts now on a pre-fight Friday, baby.
Did you just indicate you're going to criticize LeBron?
Just wait till you hear my belief.
All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by the host of the UFC Tonight, Kenny Florian, and Mike Tyson's former manager, John Horn. Let's move to this weekend's main event, the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
Which took an interesting turn today with Floyd claiming that Conor's former sparring partner, Paulie Malignaggi, was actually working for Floyd.
My friend called me and said, Floyd, do you want me to go to camp? I said, absolutely.
Sucker.
But Paulie, you mind if I sign this?
Yo, go right ahead, bro. Go right ahead, champ. Go right ahead, champ. Woo! Damn.
Paulie, thank you for going over there like I asked you to do. And he made it look good when he grabbed you and threw you down.
You got it, champ.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
All right, Cowherd, do you believe Floyd actually spied on Conor?
Yes, and here's why. Who turned Ole Miss football in? Alabama. Spygate, Deflategate. New England. You got a phone?
Colts turned in the Patriots. Got you.
Apple is spying on you. At home, Google is. Surveillance is the culture of dominance. Is that once you become number one, you are paranoid. And paranoid's an incredibly healthy thing. And I think when you're Floyd and when you were, maybe you didn't have the electronical capability of Ali, you are always looking down and who's catching up on you. And I think Conor McGregor had multiple eyes on him that were reporting to Floyd.
Yeah, I think that this is commonplace in combat sports. I think it's commonplace in boxing. Send someone else into the camp, try to gather as much information as possible. Yeah, I think he did it. I don't necessarily think he had to do it, but why, Floyd, why leave anything to chance?
I don't think less of him.
Yeah, not remotely, I don't think less of him. But I also think that revealing this is, again, there's going to be a Conor McGregor, Paulie Walnuts fight, and the promotion has already started.
What do you think?
In the fight game, there's always two fights, pre-fight and the fight. Floyd's winning the pre-fight right now. He has the momentum going in with the mind game. He absolutely, it's only real if Conor believes that Paulie was spying for him. And that's all Floyd wants to do. He's trying to get inside Conor's head again, and that's what he's doing. It's part of it's a part of the weekend.
Did you feel that Mike was being spied on?
Well, Mike's always spied on, regardless. Inside the ring, outside the ring, no matter what. So it happens all the time. Any edge you can get, you get it, and that's exactly what Floyd is doing right now.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying, Colin. I just don't believe that Floyd actually did that, and I'll tell you why. First of all, if I am a guy and I want to go out and help someone, let's say I'm going to get intelligence for Floyd, my friend, the so-called friend, I'm not going to throw my face at Conor McGregor's fists for, 20 rounds just to say, I'm barely there, I'm barely conscious, but I got some good intelligence for you, Floyd. I did it because you're my buddy. There's no way it would happen. I think what it is they're playing mind games. They're trying to get, it's like what you were saying, trying to get inside Conor's head, and it just might be working.
And if Paulie was really in there for Floyd, he wouldn't expose him like this right now. You understand? He would take the information and he would have it, but it's more important to him for him to believe that Conor believes.
But isn't there more value Floyd getting information on Conor? We all know what Floyd does. Go watch YouTube. Nobody knows what you're getting from Conor. I'd spy on Conor if I was Floyd.
In a way, yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. But I think what's crazier is the fact that Paulie Malignaggi is calling this fight, and here he is kind of...
Now that's what
he's working for Showtime, and here they are kind of setting Conor up, like, together. That's just a weird
Conor's
situation.
camp should be more concerned about that than about Floyd.
No. Conor's camp, they're not called the money team yet, but that's what they are, the money team 2.0. Mm-hmm. Everything that's going on is about generating revenue. And they've already, in their minds, man, we just 24, 36 hours from collecting a check on this fight. How do we get the next check? Floyd will promote Paulie, and he'll be involved when Paulie fights Conor, and there's going to be more money rained on these guys for this fight. Look, that's the only thing that worries me about Saturday night. Every bit of this seems rigged to me. Every bit of this seems set up.
The bout?
Everything about it doesn't seem genuine. No, it seems it's an event. We're all going to watch. There's going to be a lot of pay-per-view. I'm certainly going to be at some party somewhere watching and enjoying it. But I'm not sure if I'm going to believe it. It feels a little WWE.
Do you think
But
all of this...
that's been going on since boxing began. There's always some kind of conspiracy around boxing and the matches, whether they're fixed or not, or some kind of show going on behind the scenes or whatever. And I can tell you firsthand, no one's never came to me. I had the biggest man in the sport. These things don't go on as regular as people think. You know, it's not like the old days where the mob guy comes in the back and says, listen, you go down at 5, buddy, no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? you can't, it's too much money involved, reputations and everything. And I think Floyd cares way too much. You might not, but I think Floyd cares way too much about his reputation as far as a real fighter. Whatever else you may say about him, he loves the fight game. It's what he knows best. And all the other camouflages that goes on around him, the flash and all this and everything else, never, ever is bedded from the root in his love for boxing. And I don't think he would be a part of that if I didn't even know no better.
And I also think, you know, this isn't about who the best boxer is. This isn't about who the better fighter is. They're fighting for money. So in that way, you know, you're kind of right. This is to make as much money as possible.
Hi guys, Colin Cowherd here. Before we get back to the Speak for Yourself podcast, I want to tell you about Toyo Tires. On Speak for Yourself, we're always talking about UFC star Conor McGregor. There's no denying his toughness, and there's no denying the toughness of Toyo Tires. That's why Toyo's been a proud sponsor of the UFC. Just like UFC fighters, Toyo Tires are built for battle. All or nothing philosophy, durability, aggressive design, on and off-road capabilities. Toyo Tires has it all. No matter what you drive, Toyo's got you covered. Also, a cool, slick look. Any vehicle or terrain, Toyo Tires. Tires are one of those things you can't sacrifice quality on. Toilet paper, quarterbacks, and tires don't go cheap. So the next time you need tires, ask for Toyo. T-O-Y-O. To experience more, visit toyotires.com/UFC. That's toyotires.com/UFC. All right, to Conor McGregor, who despite the spying and some very long odds, is predicting he will knock Floyd out, saying this week that the boxer should have left him in the UFC. Conor also talked about what the future might hold after this fight.
After I get victory on Saturday night, I will most certainly be looking to compete in both sports. I was joking, but I was actually thinking about it. Maybe going forward, since I'm the king of the boxing ring and the king of the octagon already, well then maybe when I've conquered both, maybe I might just create my own hybrid of an octagon and a boxing ring or something.
All right, Whitlock, do you think Conor's UFC days are behind him?
Yeah, I do. I think that Conor, again, I've always believed he's going to fight this Malignaggi. I think they're already setting that up. I think there's more money for him in boxing, as John has explained to us over the past couple of weeks, that he can make more money in the boxing ring and in being his own promoter. I think he's going to try to follow Floyd's footprint, Oscar De La Hoya's footprint, start McGregor Promotions. He'll be the face of it in the ring. I think that's the direction. I think, you know, this will be the last time he and Dana White will be sitting comfortably beside each other. They may sit beside each other again, but it won't be comfortable.
I think Dana White and McGregor will bolt. Dana White built this company. He cashed out for $300 large. And I watch him comfortably wear those McGregor Boxing Club shirts. And I watch John Jones maybe get stripped. And the women's division, there's a new champ. And the HGH test, it's hard. I mean, Dana is literally duct taping some of these things together. Will they make weight? Dana made his money. Why does he need the headaches?
He can move on to make money. That's a great point.
Absolutely.
I think Dana moves on. I really do.
But
Dana made his money.
As I said from the beginning, Floyd is fighting for the sport of boxing right now. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I said from the very beginning, if somehow Conor pulls this off and wins, there's no telling where the sport goes. And it may go to something just like Conor just explained. And I said that from the beginning. This fight, we looking at it as a show, people laughing and grinning about it. But if Conor pulls this off somehow, Number one, if he's respectable, he's going to have options no matter what. But if he pulls this win off, it's going to create almost a new sport because this is a new event right here for real.
Yeah.
And I give it much more credence than most people do.
People laughed at MMA when it started.
Of course.
And it is now it's one of our leagues.
5-round shutout, John. Just remember how he told you.
I mean, I think if he wins, I don't think he fights again. I mean, you climb the Mount Everest in boxing, you climb the Mount Everest in the UFC. What else is there to accomplish? You're at the pinnacle in both sports. I don't think there's a reason for him to fight anymore.
You think he retires?
Yeah, I think he retires if he beats Floyd. If he somehow pulls off the win against Floyd, I think he retires. If he loses, like many people expect him to do, I think he'll come back to the UFC, fight 1 or 2 big money fights. There's still the trilogy with Nate Diaz as the other fight, maybe against George St. Pierre, which would be a huge fight, and then he's done.
Kenny, let me ask you this. Yeah. Have you ever seen a man or a woman with a big pile of money that didn't want more to add more onto that pile? Man or a woman?
Sure.
Who have you seen?
Yeah, and he's still young. I get that, but I think at that point, what else? He only can lose in that situation. What is going to be bigger than Floyd in boxing? What's going to be bigger than what he's
Don't rule out Hollywood. Seriously, don't rule out him becoming Vin Diesel.
Doesn't have to get hit and make millions of
in the fight game, any retirement under 45 years old means nothing now these days. You know, it's an event by event. If somebody come up and offer Conor that kind of money, even if he retires, they come and offer him that kind of money at 29 years old. He's not going anywhere yet.
See, John, let me just say that. Colin's seen some big checks, but they ain't never seen these big boxing checks. And I'm just saying, that's an addiction worse than heroin or crack, man. Someone pays you $30, $100 million.
It's hard to say no to that.
You just start going, oh my God, when can I get the next hit of that?
Yeah, but not only that though, all seriousness, these guys love what they do. Believe me, they do. They love it. If Floyd would not be around this long if he didn't. And believe me, he's pushing towards retirement, but in the back of his mind somewhere, he wants to for real, but he loves the game. He loves the game, not just fight night, the atmosphere, the game. Yeah. The game is what they do. It's what they're part of.
He's a performer.
You understand? And that's like, it's their family business. And no matter what you say, 40 years old is old in that ring, but in his mind and his heart, he's a young man. So it's not that easy for him to let it go. Conor's 29. That's his first big payday, no matter what. And he got a lot of things in Ireland he might want to do. So don't, you guys are right.
You can buy the country.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome back, Kenny Florian, John Horn here. Let's go to Vegas, return there where Floyd Mayweather has been a heavy favorite over Conor McGregor since the moment the fight was announced, which no doubt had something to do with why he's been so confident. Prepping for the fight at his Vegas strip club and making a big guarantee at this week's press conference.
The same way he's talking about he's giving it, hopefully he can take it this way. But once again, remember what I said, 100% chance this fight won't go the distance.
Now that you mentioned that, some critics say Mayweather hasn't scored a knockout since 2009. So why should we believe that you'll be able to score a knockout against Conor McGregor?
Last time I checked, I ain't never known a critic to get in there and be a fighter. All a critic can do is criticize you, because they can't do what you can do. So I don't listen to critics.
All right, Whitlock, is anything short of a knockout a failure for Floyd Mayweather?
I want to clear, knockout I don't think is the line. He needs to stop him. If Conor McGregor sits on his chair and throws in the white towel in the 5th, 6th round, it's a successful night for Floyd Mayweather. I don't think Floyd has to knock him out. I do think Floyd has to stop him well before 12 rounds. If this thing goes to a decision, if this thing goes past the 8th or 9th round, I'm going to be sitting there scratching my head like, Floyd, greatest pound for pound, 49-0, and you can't knock this bum out, or you can't make him quit. I'm expecting Floyd to make him quit in the 5th round. That will be a success story. I don't know if that's by knockout or if the guy just says, damn, I can't touch him. My arms are tired from all these swings and misses, and he quits. That's what I expect.
What if it goes 12 and, I mean, listen, Conor's the bigger man. He's 168, 170. Yeah. I mean, Floyd fights under his weight sometimes, right? Whatever it is, 152. What if there's utter domination by Floyd? Won every round. If Conor didn't have multiple, you still going to bang on him?
He better look Conor better have both jaws swollen, head swollen, eyes shut. If he goes Rocky Balboa and survives that way, and then he's in, cut my eye, Mick, or, you know, cut me, Mick, if he does that, yeah, but, you know, Floyd needs to beat him up really, really bad.
Okay, now stop. See, I watched this happen to Mike for years. You guys sit down here and you minimize the opponent to the point where if he lands 1 or 2 punches, Floyd loses. You understand?
I would agree with that.
Okay, that's
anything
not
more than 2
no,
punches.
No. That is not reality, though. You minimize the opponent to the degree where, like I said, you act like I'm getting in the ring with Floyd or something. You act like Conor can't do any more than I can, and I don't believe that that's even possible as long as this man's been in that ring in this kind of atmosphere.
Let me give you a name. You ever remember a guy named Peter McNeely?
Yeah, do I know him? Of course I know him. I know him very well.
A tomato can. I watched that fight. He never put a real hand on Mike Tyson.
And he wasn't supposed to.
Mike Tyson.
He wasn't
Thank you,
in
and
there
neither
for
was Floyd.
This is a totally different story. Peter McNeely did what he had to do, and he's gone now. Everything's fine.
Same thing's going to happen with Conor McGregor.
Listen, I think it would be a failure. I mean, I don't think Floyd Mayweather, if he came over to the UFC and fought Conor in the octagon, he wouldn't last 2 minutes. I mean, there's no way.
But
and
it's
if
a
it went
difference.
The distance, everyone would be laughing
It's
at
a
Conor
big
McGregor.
difference. You're talking about something where you're grabbing and you can hold, you can choke hold somebody out, you can forearm, you can do many more ways to stop somebody quickly in a wrestling match, basically, as opposed to a boxing match.
You're right. Still coming into Floyd's world.
Right, but it takes more. And not only that, though, you can accept that from somebody who's a knockout puncher like Mike. A lot of his opponents ended early. Floyd can dominate this fight, and it can go 12 rounds. He can dominate it and go 12 rounds.
I think you make a really good point. This is really interesting. I agree with you. But the perception is Conor would kick his arse the other way around.
Correct.
You're right. But if Conor goes 7 and says, that guy couldn't last a minute, the audience is like, they're not going to sit here like we do. They're going to go, you know what? They're right. Yeah. There's no way that Mayweather could last 7 rounds.
But because it's just a boxing match, let me just say this right here. There's no way in the world I believe 2 things are going to happen. Conor going to get totally dominated, embarrassed, and he don't try something. Those 3 things ain't going to happen. I promise you that. I don't care what kind of fines involved. I don't care what. That man who I've been watching all this time, the things I've been hearing come out of his mouth, his attitude, his personality, and all those fans who come over here with him, Conor, he may very quickly wish he didn't do what he might do, but nothing in the world is going to tell me that man's going to get embarrassed, he's going to get dominated, and he's just going to say, oh, I'm sorry, and go home. Nothing about this tells me that. Not anything. So,
have you seen the size of the check they promised him? $100 million. He will take that ass and make sure he can cash that check the next day, and he'll be laughing at you, me, and everybody else.
No, because
he's out spending that money.
as long as he don't get dominated and embarrassed, anything he make up in anything he loses, he'll make up in a rematch. Don't worry about that. I promise you, you're probably right in the end, but this man is going way too far. He's going too deep. He'll lose all kind of respect in the world. This man just get his butt whooped, walk out of that ring totally dominated. He won't be able to spend 1 nickel of that $100 million in freedom.
By the way,
I promise you he won't.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to retire in Ireland. That's not New York City. Like in Ireland, he wants to walk the streets and go to the pubs and be a regular person. You're not going to humiliate him.
Have you ever seen a man carrying $100 million get disrespected anywhere? What?
Yeah.
Where?
He can pay everyone to like him. You know, he can pay everybody to like him.
Thank you. No, a man with $100 million.
No.
Now, what do you think? Okay, you respect boxing.
Yeah.
But John feels very strongly about this, that Conor's going to make Floyd uncomfortable. Do you believe that?
Listen, I think Conor's going to give him a fight. I think that's one thing you can guarantee, and that's why he's been such a huge star, is Conor is going to get in your face, and he's going to make it a fight. You don't want to box Floyd Mayweather. You have to fight him. You got to brawl him, and I think that's his only chance to his own demise, but he has to do that.
But Conor would beat Floyd in an MMA match quicker than Floyd and more dominantly than Floyd would beat him in a boxing 100%. Match. Perceptionally, Floyd can dominate this fight and it go 12 rounds. Conor knows how to take a whooping. Don't worry about that. He can handle all that. Floyd know how to give one. Conor know how to take one.
I tell you, he should work for McGregor.
He really should.
You're better than Dana White.
You know what you're going to have on Saturday night? A lot of free time. Because when this thing ends after 5 rounds, you're going to be, damn, what am I going to do for the next 25 minutes?
No,
I thought I had 7 more rounds
I'm going to be on the phone with you. Don't worry about that. I know who I'm going to find.
right, welcome back to the show. Eric Davis is back. We're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Kevin Durant, who famously left a superstar teammate last summer and now is offering an interesting theory about why another superstar, Kyrie Irving, would want to get away from LeBron James.
When you're around LeBron James, it's like, it's so much that comes with that. It's like so much outside, like distractions and conversations and just noise that just comes around just from being around LeBron James. And Kyrie at the point like, all right, we lost the championship. This whole season is going to be about if LeBron's going to leave or not. Like, I'm ready for a new challenge. Like, all that stuff kind of met at the pinnacle of, you know, why he wanted to leave. And it just felt like he just wanted a situation where he could just be free from all of that and just play.
Cowherd, is it difficult for other stars to play with LeBron?
Yeah, I think it's like touring with Kanye or Bieber. I think you get caught in the media quicksand, and I think it's just the reality of it. Michael Jordan was punching teammates and wearing Pippen out in the end, and Shaq and Kobe lasted for a short time. The #1 NBA star, there's always like one. It was Magic. It was, you know, it was MJ. It was Shaq. It was LeBron. The #1 NBA star is the #1 sports star in America, because A, NBA promotes its stars more than the NFL and baseball. Number 2 is you wear them home. Kids have shoes, not of Brady, of LeBron. So LeBron's at home in your closet. He's on your feet at school. You feel a kinship, a closeness with him. You play the video games with him. So it's hard when you're the #1 sports star in America in a league that promotes you. You just get caught up in the Bieber's, Kanye's quicksand.
I think it's a false narrative, though, to equate LeBron to Michael Jordan, the burden of playing with Jordan to the burden of playing with LeBron. And again, some of this is technological advances, but I don't think that if Jordan were around in this era, I don't know if the passive-aggressive stuff over Twitter and social media would be going on with Michael Jordan. I think he's just a little too mature, too grown for that, even in his earlier years. I think that LeBron, because of his desire to have control over the organization and exercising control over the Cleveland organization, makes it more difficult. Michael Jordan wanted some control over Chicago. They wouldn't give it to him. You answered to Jerry Krause. You answered to ownership. I just think the burden of playing with LeBron is more difficult than any superstar we've seen in any sport before. I give
You're
Kevin
not blaming
Durant,
LeBron.
Well, yes and no. Again, you got to take the good with the bad. LeBron has been to 7 straight finals. He's won 3 championships. He's great to play with on the court. So I think you have to deal with it. But I do think Kevin Durant is making a pretty good argument in case why Kyrie's like saying, man, I just want to go play basketball. I want to go compete for MVPs and build a championship team in my image. I got no problem with it.
Why do you guys keep using Michael Jordan? I mean, was it difficult to play with Magic Johnson? That's who I think LeBron is more like, between the court vision, the passing. You guys know top 25 assists NBA history. There's 24 point guards, and there's LeBron James. I think Magic and LeBron are much better when you compare the two playing style. I mean, Magic got everybody involved. LeBron gets everyone involved, gets you in a position to score. And then if you have to take over, LeBron will do that. I don't see how it's difficult at all to play with LeBron. I mean, you take a poll in the league, how many players would want to play with LeBron James? 95%?
Well, I'm sure players who want to play with him doesn't mean it's not difficult. And when you talk about Magic and his personality, Magic didn't have he has an alpha personality, but not a domineering personality. And that's what this gets down to, I think, the players' personalities and what you're dealing with. Kyrie is an alpha. You had 2 alphas on that team. So the alphas of the alphas, they need to be somewhere where they can be an alpha. And I think that was the problem. I think that's what happened with Durant and Westbrook. You have to move on. And playing next to LeBron James, you no longer get to be the alpha. You're Chris Bosh. You're no longer, you used to be the guy in Toronto, now you're not. You're Kevin Love, you used to be the guy, and now you're not. Kyrie Irving, they paid him to be the guy, now you're not. I think that's a part of the difficulty because just from a personality standpoint, you're accustomed to that attention, you're accustomed to being the cure. And
but
no
Kevin
one's
Love,
coming to you like
Chris
that.
Bosh, those guys didn't win anything, you know?
But I like your Magic Johnson analogy because I think when I sat here and talked about the personality difference between Michael and LeBron, I do think if Magic were around in this era, he would be passive aggressive over social media. He would display some of the
fired, didn't he?
Some of this, but just not just that. Just look, Magic likes. He's using Twitter and he's no good at it. Magic likes the attention of Twitter.
He's recruiting.
He's more like LeBron. But the thing that where Magic wasn't able to be so dominant is because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was on this team.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have that domineering personality that LeBron has. That's what I'm saying.
Also, Shaq and Kobe, it's the only time the two best finishers in the league may have played in the same team. Kyrie and LeBron, you think they fit guard forward. They really need the ball. Like, they're not a great long-time fit, right?
No, they're
Magic and Kareem are.
Yes, because Magic was going to feed Kareem, and Kareem was going to create space for Magic.
Kyrie wants the quarterback, and LeBron feels he's a quarterback.
Guys, when do we not want to be around greatness? There's a bunch of alphas at this network that people want to get here to work
I'll tell you what.
Colin, Whitlock, Skip Bayless. People want to be around greatness and good leaders.
I'm going to...
A lot of value
playing to our vanity.
You know what? I'm going to go... I know, and just quickly. Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, opposite sides of the ball, both of them the greatest at what they did. Jerry did not want him around because there was too much attention falling on Deion. We could have made a big-time run if they had kept that group together, that secondary that we had. I put it up there with the best all time, and it had to be broken up because that greatness didn't want that greatness around. All greatness doesn't want to be there. Sometimes that guy wants to be the guy.
U2's the exception. Rock bands break up after about 2 albums. I mean, the truth is there's just too many stars. It works for those guys from Dublin, but generally, and it works for the Stones, but they've had their issues. Generally, those bands break up, man. Joined now by a couple of Super Bowl champs, Eric Davis and Seth Joyner.
Jefferson Davis.
Stop it.
Let's move to Colin Kaepernick, who actually had a pretty good week. Wednesday, there was a rally supporting him outside of the NFL headquarters. And now Jags owner Shad Khan says he'd be open to signing the out-of-work quarterback. Kaepernick took to Instagram to thank all the people who showed up at the rally, writing, quote, "Thank you to everybody who went out to support yesterday. My faith's always been and always will be in the power of the people." Whitlock, you think Kaepernick still wants to play in the NFL?
Of course he still wants to play in the NFL. Everything he's done since last August, when he started sitting on the bench during the national anthem, has been about Colin Kaepernick's future in the NFL. He was mad then about losing his starting job. He's mad right now about not having a job in the NFL. That's why he's thanking everybody and retweeting everybody that has anything to say about the event yesterday. It's never, ever, ever been about what he said it was about, police brutality. If it was about police brutality, he would have tweeted out yesterday or today, "Hey, I appreciate the support, but let's not forget the real issue that I'm allegedly protesting about, police brutality in the black community." But he didn't do that because, again, it's about Colin Kaepernick. He likes the attention on him and his career. That's what this has always been
When
about.
you go for an interview or get close to a job, don't you send a thank you note? Never sent one to the Seahawks, never sent one to the Ravens, but he sent one to the protesters. If you're trying to get a job and you deeply care and you interview here, next day, hey, thanks for the interview.
Man,
Appreciate
both of y'all.
Man, stop. No one sent.
I can't even take it no more.
Where's the thank you note?
Wow.
No one sends a thank you note to a team that didn't sign them. Okay, what
You did if you're desperate.
What would you be thanking the Seahawks for? They didn't give you for your time. They didn't give him a job. Okay, they can sit around and consider him whatever.
Eric, I understand as a pro athlete, you can feel privileged and entitled.
This is not
the rest
about
of America
privilege.
doesn't operate that way.
This is not about privilege or entitlement. It's about the way the business is run. If you like me, you sign me. If you don't, you don't.
Thank the
it's
protesters.
that simple. It's that simple.
I'm really trying to, because it's the second time this week, Jason, that you said about the privilege and privileged pro athlete and entitled pro athletes. You don't get to this level being privileged and entitled. No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't, because you got to work your behind off to be, because listen, there's only 1,700 NFL jobs. Okay, there are millions upon millions of people that want those 1,700 jobs, and there's only 1,700 people that are privileged enough to get those jobs, and they don't get. And they don't. Well, they're privileged. They're privileged. It's a privilege to be in the NFL. Is my point. Okay, you don't get there by privilege. I was drafted in the 8th round. What kind of privilege did I get?
Seth, the overwhelming majority of guys in professional athletics at any level have won the genetics lottery. And most people have been eliminated because they don't win the genetics lottery.
So it's all about genetics. Not the hard work.
Did I say all? Most. If it's not always the hardest working guy on my high school team was like 5'5", 150 pounds. He had no shot at being a college player, but he was the hardest working guy on our team.
See, I was that 5'5", 150-pound high school guy.
There's aberrations.
That had to work to get there.
There are aberrations.
Let me ask you this, though.
I was 6'2", 190 pounds coming out of high school.
Cry me a river.
No.
Okay.
But let's
hold on.
No,
the average height is like 5'7".
Hold on, guys.
You are blessed to be
6'2".
No major school wanted me at 190 pounds.
Okay, but Seth, let's get back to the whole
We want you
issue.
at
This is
240.
the thing. This is the thing. Yes, I think Cap wants a job, but I disagree with what you're saying when you say that he
Why
doesn't.
isn't the focus on the police brutality?
Why? The people didn't focus on the police brutality,
seems satisfied with that.
Cap has also not said some other things that I don't think necessarily.
Cap was just
that's
showing
it.
great manners in thanking people that came out to support him.
Let me ask you this: is it possible? Is this just possible?
Okay. Let's go for a possible.
Let's go in the middle. Does he care? You're yes. I'm not as much. How about this in the middle? That he wants to play football, but he's 3-16 last 19 starts, and kind of the league is sending a message, dude, you're not a starter. You are a marginal backup. And he is a starter in the political world now.
No question.
He is a backup, and that he's less interested today than a year ago.
Wait, hold on.
Is that possible?
Let me ask. Yes, that's very much so possible, because that would be the same scenario that you gave me for Jay Cutler. Correct? When I said that Jay Cutler, when we were talking about who should go there, you said, well, Jay doesn't want to be a backup. That's why he's doing something else, because he didn't care about it. But the opportunity came, and he said, I'm going to play.
So is it possible?
It very well could be possible.
I think Cap
I'm not saying it's not.
He's interested, but I think he's figuring out, like, people are looking at him as a notch above a clipboard holder. That's it.
No.
But that's unfounded, though, because, listen, you can't take some quarterbacks and say, oh, we can't judge all quarterbacks by wins and losses. There's so many other things that go into it, and then take Kaepernick and set him aside from that. Okay, and say that, he's the reason why the San Francisco 49ers stunk. He's the reason why they were 3-16.
And nor can you say...
I mean, but you're inferring that by what you're saying.
I am inferring that there's no interest. He's not getting any real interest. And I think he's figuring out...
This is real simple.
I'm a complete backup.
We're making it complicated. He wants to be a starter, and there's a price that he wants to be paid as a starter. No one's willing to now make him a starter.
That's an assumption.
It's an educated assumption.
It's an assumption, just like you're assuming that he doesn't care about the issues that he said he cares about.
His actions aren't showing that.
I think
a lot of his
now
actions have shown that.
I think right now he knows that there's no chance that he can come on anybody's team and be a starter. He'd take a backup job and hope to be able to get on the field and improve himself again. I think it's an assumption for everybody out there that says that he doesn't want to sign with a team or he's refused teams because he wants.
That's why he's celebrating this extortion plan that's going on. We're going to protest the NFL until Kaepernick gets the job. Did anybody do that for you?
You always get the last word, so I'm letting you know.
Did anybody do that to you?